Hello, hello, beautiful world. It is a beautiful world, I promise you. We promise you. Humans are beautiful. It's going to be beautiful again. How many times can I say beautiful? Horrorvision 2020 coming at you. Tommy and I are excited about bringing you the guest today. She is not just well-traveled, well-versed, well-educated. She is an accomplished writer, an ex-casting director. She's been in the biz for a really long time, including the London Cabaret in Bangkok, Bollywood in India. She's been all over the world. She's really well known for being a centibite in Hellraiser, amongst many other things. She's got so many movies. Check her out on IMDb. And she was such a fun interview that I'm going to derobe. And I wouldn't do it without Tommy Brunswick. Today we bring you a wild interview. So wild we had to go long and cut it short. At the very end we could have kept going for like an hour and a half. Barbie Wilde, everybody. Come and get her, because I am. Whew. Ah.
And there we go.
Hi guys, how you keeping?
Doing all right. This is my co-host and friend Jim Lewis.
Hi Jim.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
Oh, well, thanks for asking me. I hope I must admit I'm sort of running out of things to say to my friends. How's your day been?
I know. Exactly. I know.
I mean, I actually made this up. I said I'm just taking each day as it comes, even if I don't remember what day it is.
Yep.
Perfect. Because I haven't remembered what day it is for a week.
God, and it's really bad when you ask your partner and they do.
The same thing.
Oh God.
Yes.
But hey.
Yeah. But welcome to Horrorvision 2020.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for doing this. This is our kind of talk show virtual convention thing that we started.
Oh, I see. Oh, great.
So eventually
Very candid.
Eventually we'll open up for autographs and stuff, you know, and when we can do that, you guys can send it and things like that. So until we can open back up as a conventions and stuff, I decided just to jump on it right away, because we were planning this already like 2 months before this.
Really?
For fans all over the world, because I get people all over the world saying I want to come to your show, but all these different things. So I'm like, it just started happening. I'm like, well, this is a good way to go, period. So we got to jump on it at least.
Oh yeah. Well, a friend of mine's, they've been trying to do. Sorry, I get distracted.
I know. No. Everyone does this because we're looking at ourselves.
Yeah, because a friend of mine was in Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, and they've been trying to do one now. They've had 2 goes because they're having Zoom problems or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're doing it quite late European time, and I think that's when everybody in California is screaming and running towards Netflix or something, you know. So.
Yeah. Since they can't go out to bars anymore.
I know, right?
Well, we're making up for it.
I make up for it at home every night.
Laughing without smiling. Yeah. I'm blessed with a partner who makes the best margaritas and the best martinis in the world.
Perfect. You're set.
You are
This
set.
is ginger tea.
Oh, okay.
Because I've got this cough, but it's not the dreaded lurgy. It is we're awash in pollen.
Oh,
and
allergies.
Yeah, I'm getting that. So
if
I get a coffee fit, don't be scared.
Well, we're pretty far away. I understand.
I think we've got 6.
I think we're
6
safe.
feet of separation.
We're safe distancing. We got our social distancing down, Barbie.
Down pat.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
God.
So I just would love for you to tell me a little bit about how you got started. Because did you get started with Clive, or did you start on your own?
Starting in horror?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
In movies or whatever, just tell me how you got started doing entertainment stuff.
Well, I worked for Michael Winner in Death Wish 3 in 1985, I think it was. That was pretty horrible.
Oh, that's cool. With Charles Bronson?
Yeah, but it actually wasn't. But he did ask a couple of things that, I don't want to go into it here. But, back in the 80s, directors felt they could take liberties and a little bit. But I told him off.
Good.
But what are you asking me for? This is ridiculous. You can't jump down on an actress like that. Anyway, so. But no, basically I was asked to do an audition. My agent phoned and they said, do you want to go to an audition for Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, and as a Cenobite? And I nearly said no, because the first one scared the bejeebers out of me. I thought,
yeah.
Which one do they want me to be? Because I thought it was the Chatterer, and I hate mask work, having been a classically trained mime. I thought, oh God, I can't. I actually was in a commercial that was directed by Bruno Tonioli of Strictly Come Dancing fame. I had to wear this really stinky latexy mask, and it was horrible. I thought, oh no, I don't want to do that. No, it's the female Cenobite. So I thought, oh well, that's okay. I'll go, and I went to Doreen Jones's, God, I remembered her name just like that. Wow. House, which was all black. Wow. Cool. And she said, oh, you're going to have a chat to the director, Tony Randall. And I think this was his first film. And we just chatted, and he said, had you seen the first one? I said, yes. And this is the female Cenobite, and it's the word that Clive invented. And I said, oh, I don't think so. I think it actually means a member of an order, usually a religious one. He went, no, it's...
I didn't know that.
It's the word Clive made up. And I said, no. And his assistant went to get the dictionary, and she said, Tony, it's actually in the dictionary.
Oh, I didn't know that. I had no idea. It's awesome.
Rule number one, when you go to auditions, don't contradict the director like 3 times or something. But I got the part probably because of my mime training, because Clive has always been fascinated by mime. You can go and see pictures of him in whiteface, and he loved all of that. But also, it had been decided many years before that I'd gone up for an audition to play one of the 8 great apes, well, small great ape, in Greystoke, because they reckoned that mime artists were more patient and also, athletically trained, and they could fit in heavy duty costumes.
Oh, that's what you didn't want though, right?
And we had to do like 2 weeks of pretending to be apes, and it's weird. But anyway, so I get the part either because I'm a mime artist, or look, I fitted into Grace Kirby's costume or whatever. Or maybe I was just, Tony Randall liked my spunk, that's the right word. But anyway, so that's how I got the part, and subsequently met Clive. But of course, he was prepping for Nightbreed, which is why Tony was directing the film.
Yeah.
And then did a lot of makeup tests, and then met my fellow Cenobites like, Doug and, oh God, what are their names?
Simon.
Nick and Simon.
Yep.
Of course, lovely Ashley, Claire, and finally Ken Cranham, who I first met, in the makeup room. I was fully dressed up as a female Cenobite. He was on the phone to his wife, dressed up as a Channard Cenobite. And I go over and I go, hi, Ken, my name's Barbie. Do you want to get married and have babies called Pepper and Skipper?
Oh no!
He did not. He's on. I was praised by that time. I don't know what made me think of even asking that. Also, he didn't know who the hell Barbie and Ken dolls were. They have Cindy dolls in the UK.
Oh.
He didn't know who Barbie was. So that went over like he's, darling, I'll have to get back to you. Some actress is talking to me. But we're friends now. He forgave me. So.
Oh, good. Good. I hope he's still married too. So.
Yes, he is.
Good.
Thank God. Yeah, yeah. He's actually winning Olivier Awards for his wonderful acting on stage and stuff. He's still acting, and so's Claire. I bumped into Claire at a shopping center, and last year, and so everybody's still doing their thing.
Oh, she's the scary mom, the scary stepmom, right?
Julia, the diva.
Yes. Oh.
I mean, I love Pinhead, but as far as I'm concerned, seeing her,
She's the scariest.
her narrative arc in the first film of being this mousy housewife with big hair and shoulder pads,
Yeah.
and becoming this like S&M queen.
Queen, I know. She was so scary. She was
But
scary.
also, she's so adorable. We met at a convention years ago and started chatting, and then another one later, and she said, "Darling, okay, shall we go for a martini?" I said, "Oh, you know, Claire, I think I'm going to just take it a bit easy. I'm going to go for a margarita tonight." And she went, "Coward."
It's funny.
She is so funny. It's so brilliant. I just, it was such a pleasure meeting up. I mean, that's why it's kind of sad, but of course we can do this thing.
Yeah.
But I always love meeting up with my fellow thespians.
Yeah, I know. I miss seeing everybody too.
Speaking
Go ahead.
of that, sorry, Tommy, because you're so well traveled. Like you moved to London at a young age to study. I mean, cabaret in Bangkok. There's maybe something like that, and then Bollywood. I mean, you've been all over the world, and so like, I mean, that's pretty amazing in itself, right there. You know,
I have been. It's been so wonderful that a lot of it has been for work, because you see it so differently when you're there to work. I mean, you don't have maybe as much fun. Don't you hate people who do air quotes?
People that do air quotes, I think it's fine.
I do this, and I get in trouble all the time.
Well, no, it's funny because to cheer ourselves up while we're having a martini or something, we watched old George Carlin routines on YouTube.
Love George.
And he said, "Don't you hate those people who put everything in air quotes?" You know? And now I'm doing it all the time. Yeah, but, you know, because doing the Bollywood movie, which was called Jen Baz, I was there for a couple weeks, and it was, you know, we did have a lot of time, and the Indian people are so gracious that they took us around and showed us the Gate of India and all these fantastic places, and out to dinners and private parties and virtual palaces, because the director of that film was the sort of the Warren Beatty of India. He was starring in it, directing it, producing it, Feroz Khan. And I went to Hungary to do Grizzly 2, which is now called Grizzly, it's a Grizzly Predator, Grizzly Concert or something. Grizzly Revenge.
Okay.
They found the footage, they digitally restored it, and it's going to go out. I don't know if you heard about this, guys.
No.
I play a drummer in a electronica band that's performing in this forest, this national park, in front of thousands of fans, and they're getting eaten by the bear.
Yes.
And early red shirts in this film are George Clooney, Laura Dern, and Charlie Sheen.
You kidding me, really?
Now, I'm not kidding you.
It just be killed off just like that.
Amazing. It is. If you just Google Grizzly 2 Revenge, it was just about being finished, and they were going to send it to a bunch of festivals, and of course, the Lurgy happened. So, I mean, it's beyond the Lurgy. It's devastating thing. And anyway, but I just thought it was so, and I had all these pictures I'd taken on set, and she, "Oh, well, can we use them on the website?" So it's on the website. You see pictures of me in blue leather with blue hair, drumming away. The story behind that, this isn't too off message, but my boyfriend at the time was a record producer, and he was producing the band in the film because they were a real band.
Okay.
And he got called off. He said, "Oh, I'm going to be doing the drumming, and you know, we can all go to Budapest or something." And then he said, oh, I just got a job and I'm producing Adam Ant in Sweden.
I love Adam Ant.
So obviously he'd rather do that. He said, well, why don't you do it? And I said, Richard, I don't know how to drum. He said, you're a dancer. You can do, I'll teach you in 2 days. So even today, if I hear something that's really good, I can really do it. And then I was this mime drummer for this band on stage in front of 10,000 people. They hired a band called Nazareth.
Yeah.
Nazareth, yeah.
Free concert in the park, and all these hungry for Western culture young Hungarians poured in. There were 10,000 people. Halfway through their concert, Nazareth stopped. They ran off stage. We ran on and did our routine like 3 or 4 times. And then we ran off again. And they segued in the delighted, oh, Nazareth, to, oh, wow, Predator. I think the band was called Predator. Because people didn't know what had hit them.
No, they just go with it once it's going. Right? It's like rolling downhill. Just keep it going.
Where's the music? Where's the music?
Yes, and then Toto Coelho. There are quite a few bands in there. Anyway, so that was an extraordinary experience. So that was Hungary. And like I said, it's always just been wonderful. And when I was in a band, of course, I did a tour of Belgium. That was really exciting. And Holland.
So I was telling Jim before this, I go, she kind of reminds me of Susie from Susie and the Banshees. The pictures look like, I was like, oh, that's so 80s, like Susie and the Banshees.
I actually went up to play Susie in the Banshees for Alex Cox for a movie called Sid and Nancy.
Oh.
At first I went up for Nancy, but I wasn't crazy enough. I was too nice. and the girl who played it, I can't think of the actress's name, but she was genius. And then I went up for Susie. I didn't get that either because I'm probably not tall enough.
Yeah, I didn't know she was tall.
Well, she's probably taller than me. I'm only 5'2".
Yeah.
I always used to lie on every casting form, 5'4", because I always wore 2-inch heels. But no, it has been really wonderful. And of course, I went to the south of France to do an episode of a TV series called Pulaski, the TV Detective. And that was really the best job I ever had, 2 weeks in the south of France.
Oh my God, that sounds like heaven.
Wearing fabulous clothes, and all this kind of stuff. So, because it was the 80s. So, the shoulder pads were.
Yep.
I don't know. I still love the look of strong shoulders because I grew up in the 80s.
I always thought, so he said, you look, I looked a little bit like a tent peg, because to really carry off the look, you had to be taller than I was, which is why I was wearing ridiculous shoes. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. And also I've been very privileged to be able to travel privately to Mexico a few times, and which I adore, and Norway. And so I've been to quite a few places in Europe. But no, I think that going off and working someplace like India is fantastic.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I've been lucky, not famous, but lucky.
You're famous in our world.
Yay!
You are. People are gonna love this. I'm so excited. So, what are you? You guys are also, because are you in London or where are you?
Well, I sort of bounce around between London and France, but it's sort of I'm just in Europe at the moment.
Everybody have to stay at home like they do here?
It's all very, very locked down. I mean, a friend of mine, she's 84 years old, and she's the, used to be the agony aunt for British Cosmopolitan. And she's so tough. She was in Vietnam, she's doing a reporter-based journalist. Yeah. And she's spry, and she's running on, there's no one here, and although supposedly some COVID-idiots are planning a big picnic in the park this weekend or next weekend, no one's going to tell us what to do. We want our independence. I think you're having the same.
I thought it was only here in the U.S. with those dumbasses.
See, I thought I was being so sweet calling them COVIDiots.
I was
Yes, they are
about to
dumbass.
mention
I'm
this.
sorry. It's just.
Oh
No.
no! I'm
I
working.
love that COVIDiots.
You like
Can I swear? Because I am a bit of a.
You can. Yes, you can.
You know what they call it over here? A potty mouth.
Okay, now.
A bit of a potty mouth. But supposedly Judi Dench does all this. She's just been made the cover of British Vogue, the oldest woman to make the cover of British Vogue, and she does these beautiful little embroideries, but they're foul-mouthed, you know. And it's like I can't remember what it was, but it just made me laugh out loud. Oh, good for you, love.
Yeah, I love her.
You know, it's. I think it was Helen Mirren who's my what a goddess, right? She's saying, I wish I could go back and tell my younger self to say "fuck you" a lot more.
Exactly.
You know, because you put up with a bit of shite,
Yes.
especially in the acting biz. But of course, that left me, as they say, that acting left me behind a long time ago. And then I just started doing this horror TV series called Dark Ditties Presents on Amazon Prime. And I did the first one called The Offer, and that had Simon, Nick, me, Ken Cranham, and Oliver Smith, who played Skinless Frank in it.
Oh,
Not
cool.
playing our characters.
Right.
Oliver played a butler, and Ken played this evil dead. He came back.
But horror fans like me, we love that. Because we love, oh my God, you know exactly who everybody is. So that's why, it's so important for you to be around right now, because that's exciting for us. You know?
Well, no, this is I'll keep on trying to be around. But no, it's a very fun. We just finished one called Dad, which I have to say is the Meisterstück of this series, as far as I know. I haven't been able to watch all of them. I must do too, because I got some links and stuff. But basically, I actually live with someone who doesn't like horror.
I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? If you've been sitting around writing scripts for Zulu zombies like I've been trying to do, really, I want to come out, drink a margarita, and watch a Pierce Brosnan film, to be perfectly honest.
I love to watch all my different shows. I watch The Good Girls, and
Yeah, exactly. But the last one, Dad, has got me, Simon, and Tim Dry, who played the alien in Extra. I don't know if you've heard of Extra.
I know Zytro. Yeah, isn't it Zytro? Extra? Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, and Ian Beatty, who's in Game of Thrones, who had the longest, it's the longest death scene to be ever filmed. It took 3 days for him to die in Game of Thrones. He's brilliant, plays this crazy reverend. I'm just at the beginning, which is sort of the beginning of this apocalyptic event, playing a news, like a Christina Yamanapur kind of character. And but really, watch Dark Ditties, because the other episodes are stupendous. And I believe that Simon Bamford is in everyone, and in everyone he's completely different.
Oh, cool! Yeah, we love.
And he's a genius. I think as an actor, he really is. His performance in Mrs. Wiltshire is you got to check it out. It's on Amazon Prime.
I will actually, if you can. Yeah. I would love to do an interview of him too, because.
Oh well, I'll get you guys in touch. I'm sure he would like to talk about Dark Ditties, and he's never left acting behind.
Yeah.
Because basically, if you're a woman and you haven't been particularly wildly successful, it pretty much leaves you behind when you're 35 or 36.
Especially when you hit older, yes.
Yeah, and when you've got people, yeah, but what about Helen Mirren? Exactly.
There's like one of her.
She's in everything.
Yeah, they have her already. They don't need anyone else.
Exactly. But oh my God, I love her in Red and Red 2, playing this assassin. I mean, when I was a little girl growing up, my dream was to be an international assassin.
That's awesome.
I would lay awake at night when I was 10 years old, figuring out how I could break in and kill all these horrible dictators and sneak in and
But only bad
run over
people.
the wall.
You're not gonna kill any no women, no kids, right?
No, only evil people, sort of like Dexter.
Like Dexter, yeah. Well, he had a few accidents.
Oh well.
So you're a writer also.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, my first novel was called The Venus Complex. It's a diary of a serial killer from the male viewpoint in the first person. And it was kind of, well, see, I've always been fascinated by serial killers because I'm so not one.
Me too.
Okay.
That's what I say. That's what I keep telling people.
I'm incredibly,
wherever Tommy's at on there.
I'm very empathic. I worry about what people think. I worry when people get sad and stuff. And so psychopaths are like, wow, they don't feel anything.
No.
That's cool. So I read a huge amount of books. I interviewed some forensic psychologists. And then I just started getting into he's an art history professor who has a car accident. He wants to kill him and his wife, but he survives. And he's got front temporal lobe damage, which means lack of impulse control. And he just falls in love with this woman at first sight and follows her around on campus. And she's a forensic psychologist. Oh, wow, how can I get her attention? And he figures out this fiendish plan of just killing women and making it being a serial killer. But he doesn't want to get caught, but he just wants to get her drawn into the investigation.
Oh, because she's that's cool. Yeah.
And yes, and so it was cool. And he also he poses them in his favorite paintings, of Venus. So he, and so that's why he would be called into, because he's an art historian. Anyway, a couple years ago, I was talking to Doug's partner, Steph.
Oh, Doug Bradley, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Doug Bradley, sorry.
Yeah.
And I mentioned, she said, Barbie, I'd love to read your book, but I'm only into real life serial killers. And I said, so am I. But I really did, the reviews have been fantastic. So just give it a go. Anyway, so she's a sculptress and she was making all this art and Doug was reading it to her. And they said that to me a couple of years ago. They came up to me and I went, wow, I'd love to hear Doug read it. He said, well, I've got to talk to you about that. So he's done the audiobook.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm still going to have to get that.
Oh, and he has done a fantastic version. We had to tweak the text a bit because I didn't want him to lose his accent. It still takes place in the United States, but he spent his formative years in Slough. Or no, it wasn't Slough. That's the second worst place. Potter's Bar, which is a whole, well, actually, to be fair, I've never been to Potter's Bar, but it sounds silly, right?
Okay.
And he came up, he said, why in God's good earth did you come up with Potter's Bar? And I went, it was either that or Slough, which I had like one of the worst nights in my life in Slough. And these towns mean nothing to you, and so they should.
No, I'm like, why do I know these towns? So we'll have to look it up. Everyone look it up.
So basically, he was born in America, the character, but then lived in England during his teenage years, and then came back. And so that explains Doug's accent and stuff. And it was such a wonderful experience working with him again, because I was basically directing him. And saying, how would you do this? And we had arguments about, I said, well, you have to pronounce it quesadillas, because the tasty Mexican treat. He said, that's not how you say it in America. I said, I don't care what your partner says, because, he's been to Mexico and stuff a million times. Said, I just asked Steph, and she's American, and it's quesadillas or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But no, it was such a delight. And we would sit here and listen to him, because the book is also full of his views of the world, which I thought would cause a huge amount of controversy. And I find people saying, oh yeah, Michael was really right. And, entry 47, I go, oh my God.
Those are scary people. Stay away from those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's one bit where he just talks about how the world's just going to split up into, city states, and it's going to be like the Mask of the Red Death. We'll all be, and all the rich and famous will be up partying with Vincent Price while the hoi polloi scrabble for a potato.
Yeah.
Which is,
It's
you know,
what's happening, really. Yeah.
well, I mean, the Brexit vote, which was our kind of Trumpster of a
Yes.
event,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
oh yeah, let's leave just as there's this pandemic and, you know, we'll be fine.
I know.
No, so it's also political and I think it's funny, but, you know, most people, you know, the way Doug does it is he starts very dead. It's right after the accident. And then he gets more and more into his, and he gets really excited about his new project. But, you know, to be warned, this is not for, you know, it is very graphic sexually. Because, you know, most serial killers, it's not just for the power element, it's also for the sexual element as well.
You read my script, Dumping Ground, Jim, right?
Yeah.
I have a script similar like that. It's really old because I had it was optioned for a while. And it is about nurture versus nature. And I use like Ed Kemper role and Albert Fish roles. You know, like I use those characters in my mind to create them, you know.
What did you think of, you've seen Mindhunter, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I've only seen the first season though. Really good.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because my brother was a director, theater director, and they were doing some play in San Francisco. He said, "Oh, did I ever tell you that I went and interviewed Ed Kemper?" I went, "No."
I know, that's me. I'm like, whoa.
I only found this out like a year ago.
Okay, Ed Kemper is a serial killer, Jim, just so you know. He's like 7 feet tall. You know, he's big.
Oh yeah, he sort of, he killed his grandparents when he was 12. He was put away, then he came home, but his mother hated him because he killed her parents.
Yeah.
And
she hated him for many different reasons, I think. She was scared of him, yeah.
Oh yeah, but also the interesting thing is that when he finally snap, he used to just look in her bedroom holding a knife as she slept, but finally he did kill her and a few other women as well. But this is the poignant touch. I shouldn't laugh. He cut out her voice box and threw it in the garburator.
Yeah.
Now that's what I call poetic vengeance or whatever.
Yeah.
You'll never talk to me again.
But that was the last person he killed that he turned himself in.
Yep.
I know.
And so it was like a circle that was done. He was done.
Yeah, it's like he should have just done Mom, and then that would have been okay. But like Norman Bates,
he's a genius. He's got like a very high IQ. Really
well, also interestingly, he actually is the narrator of a ton of audiobooks.
I know. I know. That's amazing. But he does have a cool little soothing voice, which is scary, you know.
Yeah, no, but you don't know who it is. But, you know, it's very, very interesting. But no, I mean, anyway, so that's the Venus Complex. And my second book is called Voices of the Damned, and it's a collection of my short stories. And can you just wait for 2 minutes while I pop out and get a copy of it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'll just go dark for a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the beauty of editing.
Yes.
Oh, good. I was going to ask.
Sorry, am I cutting you off too much, Jim? I'm sorry.
Oh.
I just get excited. I get, you know.
I know.
And you know,
I love the cover of this book.
Ooh.
It's by Clive.
Awesome.
And
that's Clive's art, right?
Yeah. And there are 3 female centibites. This is another one. 3 female cenobite stories. Because I created a female cenobite called Sister Celise. It sort of works like a backstory to my character, but for legal reasons, it had to be based on The Hellbound Heart, and which is the original novella. And that was, but you know, there are other stories like Sleep Demons. I'm sure a lot of people are having those.
Oh my God, yes, having those like crazy. People are having really crazy dreams lately. They've been hearing.
Oh God, oh boy. I don't know if I should tell you about the, you know, being caught in a hailstorm of wet peanuts. It was so painful. They were pounding down.
Is it your dream?
Yes. And then the house started picking, there's the second sister, Lisa.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Gets her own box together, and then she gets all these female cenobites together, and then there's a big rebellion in hell at the end. But there are also vampires that don't drink blood, because I came across this Chinese proverb, funnily enough, that said, 1 drop of semen is equal 10 drops of blood. So I thought,
Oh shit.
just think about it.
So it's like they would volunteer.
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
not
they
my-
do actually. Yeah, no, it's a different kind of vampire altogether.
I don't want to run. I don't want to run into that vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you
But
do.
also-
Maybe you'll marry that one.
No,
If you survive.
yeah. I don't
No,
know.
but
It sounds a
this
little
has
more
been
like.
wonderfully reviewed. It's called Brutal in Its Sensuality, A Satisfying Triumph, etc. by Publishers Weekly, that normally doesn't review independent publishers' books, but it's a beautifully designed book. As you can see, the artwork is fantastic. Every story's got an original artwork, except there are 2 by Clive that I picked, that he allowed me to use. And there are people like Nick Percival, who did all the Hellraiser covers for the Boom comics.
Yeah. Okay.
And he did the one for my Zulu Zombies. I'm turning that into a film script.
So, have any of your other books been picked up for option?
No, but I did do a story called Blue Eyes, and it got very close to getting funding. Oh God, it's like 2 years ago now. I think it was 2 years ago. But Chris Alexander, the former editor-in-chief of Fangoria,
Yeah.
is going to direct it. And we just thought, screw it. We're just going to go for this. And it's going to be low budget. He's had quite a lot of films out. Queen of Blood and Blood for Irina and Female Werewolf. They all have strong female characters in it. But this one, I mean, we've been working on the script, and it's going to be, he likes the fever dream kind of, that kind of thing. But it's, if it ever gets made, because of the current circumstances.
I would like to work with you on some of those female horror characters, because part of the people that we're interviewing on these are producers and financiers and a whole bunch of other things. So that's part. I moved to Los Angeles, so I live in Los Angeles now. So,
Yes, I know.
and all of the people the horror industry here is very small, but we're very, we all very connect. Yeah, because every time there's a thing going on, all the same people. It's like a horror convention. We're all just hanging out.
Well, finally people are realizing that it's a very popular genre, and especially during troubled times, people say, I want to see something that's scarier than what's outside.
Right. It's the safe sphere. It's like the roller coaster,
Exactly. So, I'm putting some things up for, whatever, but
like for auction or something, or for sale?
Oh no, I have a manager, and he's sort of approaching somebody for one thing, but I'm happy to send you review copies of the book. Did I give you a copy of the book?
You might have, but since then I've been going through divorce. so everything's kind of up in the air, but it's okay. I'm very happy here in Los Angeles.
Sure. Well, palm trees beat ice storms every day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, I guess.
But I still do Motor City Nightmares. So until then, that's why we're doing all of these, so that people can still see all of you guys and interact. So we're going to do interactive ones soon. We might do horror trivia. Would you be up for that? Against another horror icon?
Oh God, I'm sure that unfortunately that they'd probably beat me.
Doesn't matter. It's the game that counts, not who wins.
I'll tell you, my love of horror. Oh, sorry, Jim. My love of horror is very based on a few things recently have popped up. I think The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Love that movie.
Fabulous.
Yes.
And of course, I was so lucky to see the premiere in the UK of the Soska sisters reimagining of Rabid.
How was that? Because I'm a huge Rabid fan of the original.
Okay, it's fucking brilliant.
Okay, because I like the
Absolutely
lead.
brilliant.
The lead in it is from a TV show called Bitten, and I like her a lot.
Yeah.
The
Well,
lead.
I cannot recommend it highly enough. And my partner went with me, and he was like, "Oh God," and he really enjoyed it. He loved Autopsy of Jane Doe as well.
Yeah.
And we just caught something that kind of came and went, and called here comes the cough.
6 feet.
6 feet.
Excuse you.
Okay.
Yeah. In the Shadow of the Moon. Have you guys seen that? It's on Netflix.
No, I'll have to check it out.
God, it was good. It was sort of like Predestination. That's the closest I could get. I don't know if that would be considered horror or sci-fi. It's probably more sci-fi. I like sci-fi horror.
Yes, so do I. Well, I like it all encompassing. You know, I love
Yes.
good cinema.
In the Shadow of the Moon had the girl that was traveling in time
Yes.
and coming back, but she was like a vampire. But yeah, that movie's great. I'll take me a minute to think about it.
I'm gonna have
to
really well done.
Kind of unknown cast, except for the guy who played Dexter was in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
He played his brother-in-law. That's right. But Philip Michael Hall, is that his name? Yes.
Yeah. Michael
Philip Hall. I don't know.
Whatever.
But no, see, that was sort of obscure things that you'd never think about. I would probably win for the trivia contest.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then, yeah, because sometimes we have those crazy obscure things. So, but it'll be fun though.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, you know, I'm considerably older than you guys, and you know,
No, you're not. No, you're not.
The horror films that I grew up in, that my brother made me watch when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Creature Feature Sunday were things from the 50s. I mean, this is in the 60s and 70s, but you know, like the thing from Another World, which was, you know, the original black and white version.
Oh yeah.
Which I watch all the time just because it's so brilliant.
It is so brilliant.
Dialogue sparkling.
It's like The Haunting, so brilliant, you know.
Oh yes, thank you. Not the one with Liam
Not the
Neeson.
new one.
No,
the original one. You know?
the original one.
Beautiful.
Who was holding my hand? Ah! Oh God, it just still.
Did you The Witch? Did you see The Witch? That was a really.
I didn't.
Oh, it's great.
I really have to watch more horror, but you know, either I'm going.
You've seen a lot. You've seen more than I have. Some of them. And
well, I try and keep. You know, it's like I said. You know, it's like the stories I'm writing. You know, it's like with Zulu zombies. It's the spirits of the Zulu warriors from the Rorke's Drift battle somehow manifest themselves in people in London. And there's there's zombie sex. As a matter of fact, there are only 2 stories in this book that don't have sex in them, I think.
Well, sex is part of life. Life, sex, death, you know. That's
well, exactly. Most of my monsters are kind of human, and humans have sex, so for goodness sake.
Right.
But I think I'm so glad my parents have gone to their reward. I'm sure they're going, oh my God. Yeah. But at least I'm not using my given name or whatever. But the thing is that somebody once, I think it was Chris Alexander, said, when you meet Barbie, she's always so funny and perky and stuff, but this is dark shit she's writing here. You know? And
people kind of say that about me too. So
no, you're very bubbly and adorable. No, I think it's funny actually. I think it's kind of definitely a faucet. No, a conduit of getting stuff out. The dark thoughts. It's on the page now, and I can
so I won't be a serial killer because I'm writing it.
Exactly. Hey.
Yes.
You know, there's an English director I don't know if you'll be familiar with, but his name was Peter Greenaway, and he did some really seriously strange films.
Like
well, Drowning by Numbers, The Cook, the Thief, the Wife, and Her Lover, which has Helen Mirren in it, and what was The Baby Macomb. They're very disturbing. The Draftsman's Contract I liked a lot, and Zed and Two Knots, and they're all weird and basically screwed up in some way, shape, or form. Zed and Two Knots I saw just after my mom died, and it's thing. This guy is in a zoo and the girl is in a zoo, and then you'd get these fast footage montages of animals decaying. You don't really want to see things decaying right after, you know. But this terribly cheerful music by Michael Nyman go, da, 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 you know. It's
That's like a
and
juxtaposition.
then I often said, I totally am so thrilled that Peter Greenaway makes films, because I'm sure he'd be getting up to something more nefarious.
More nefarious, yes. Exactly. I understand.
You know, I think there might be issues there. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably being mean to him. I mean, his
Well, I
vision
have
is,
seen a couple of Crispin Glover's films. So if you've ever seen any of Crispin Glover's films,
I was unaware he directs his films.
he directs, I guess you could call them films, but they are very, very, very strange. He does regular jobs so that he can make these strange films. So
Oh, good
I'm
for
gonna say
him.
what about that. So if you get a chance, look it up.
Well, it's funny because there was a program on British TV last week. It's Mark Kermode, who's a film critic, and he did this, you know, The Secret Life of Sci-Fi, and they showed Back to the Future, and there's Crispin Glover, and I went, gosh, he's such a odd
Such an
looking
odd-
guy, a wonderful
know.
actor.
Yeah.
And so no, I could see that he might be interested in doing something on the sort of.
It's bizarre. You're just like, you know, it's kind of like it's a bizarre being John Malkovich kind of thing. You know, it's kind of got a whole other.
Now there's a horror movie.
I know, that's a crazy movie.
We were just talking about that. It was so brilliant. It was so unusual.
Yeah, I love that movie. No,
Yeah.
so do you have anything that you want to promote, like other than your books? Because your books can be found on Amazon.
Well, actually, it'd be so wonderful. I think my publisher of Voices of the Damned,
Okay.
SST Publications, he's doing very good competitive rates for shipping to the United States from England.
Okay.
So, but you know, support independent
Yes.
publishers. You know, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't think the deluxe, I can't find it on Amazon anymore. This is a really beautiful paper. This is Botophobia, my homage to 50s horror. Thank you, to my brother. But it's always, and Comet Press or Red Room Press does the Venus Complex. But yeah, they're all available on Amazon if you know, you can.
But go to
Kindle
the
paperback
publishers.
Says T publication.
If you can, I think it's nicer, and they don't get a good deal. Sorry, Mr. Bezos. From
Don't be sorry to him. He doesn't need a sorry.
and I would say, yeah, you know, both the Venus Complex and Voices of the Damned are available on all the Amazons and Barnes and Noble, I think. But you know, check out the audiobook, and if you can, leave a review, because Doug's done a fantastic job. He really has.
And who doesn't love Doug? And we're praying for him right now. So
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, he seems to be. I mean, he did a Q&A recently on Instagram.
okay. And he's doing
Yeah, so I think
he's
he's.
out. Yeah.
I saw him doing some painting and, you know, walking his dog Ziggy.
Because he did an announcement earlier this month that he was going through cancer treatments, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, because he's such a nice man, you know.
I know. We're all very, very concerned and stuff, but you know, hey, I mean, this is why we have to have faith in scientists, and you know, hopefully we'll get through this. But the only other thing I could say is, you know, Dark Deities on Amazon Prime at the moment, and keep your eyes out for Blue Eyes.
Yep.
That makes sense.
All right. And I will let anyone know that you are available for work when it opens back up.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, obviously I would fit a very narrow. Let's get Helen Mirren or Judy. Let's get Barbie.
That's right.
Except I'm really crap at doing English accents. That was what
Where are
another
you
limitation.
from? You're not from England then?
No, I actually went there to study drama, got waylaid into mime, then went into the music business and got signed by RCA Records, and ended up supporting Adam and the Ants and Gary Newman
Wow.
and Wembley, which was cool, and then went back into acting. But I went to study drama in the UK. I'm actually Canadian.
Oh, okay. So that's why you're so nice.
And we have such a lovely man as our prime minister.
Yeah, I know, right?
There was one little moment. Somebody just did this slow-mo of him doing this.
I could watch that all day. I'm sorry.
No, he seems a very nice guy. He's got his problems. He's made his mistakes, but
Yep.
I feel happy to be.
Yes, good. I just want to thank you so much for your time, and I will be in touch with you because I love these ideas. Of course, the female horror stuff. There's not many people that I know connect with that. So.
Oh well, listen. A lot of the characters are female in my horror story collection. If either of you want review copies or Kindle copies, just let me know, please.
I will. I'll hit you up on Facebook.
Okay. Jim, we've been sort of chattering away. Was there any little question?
Ask your question.
Oh, I mean, that's not my question.
It's his question.
I mean, what's your favorite horror film?
That is too difficult to say. Obviously. I mean, if I'd say black and white, depends. Would you say is a serial killer film horror?
I would say yes.
So.
Okay, well, my best serial killer film, as far as I'm concerned, is Psycho. With Anthony Hopkins in his dream. No, Anthony Perkins. Second best one would be American Psycho. My favorite visceral horror film is probably Alien. It really freaked me out.
Love Alien, yes.
Those are all great. Yes.
And the Thing, Carpenter's Thing. Black and white horror, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 50s version, scared the poop out of me when I was a kid.
I don't know. I still like the one with Donald Sutherland, though, too.
I know, but we started watching that last week, and my partner said, I'm not scared. I'm bored. I like the first one. You see, that's the one we saw first.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
But I think I will have to say that considering how much being in it changed my little world, I would say that well, funnily enough, Hellraiser is my favorite. Yeah. But a lot of people love Hellbound more, which is interesting.
I love them all. I'm a huge. Well, actually, I love the one with the that tells the backstory of in space. It's like crazy. It's like in space, but it's a cool little.
Is that the third one?
They do.
Yeah, is that the third one or?
I think might be the fourth one. I'm not sure.
It's the fourth one. Yeah.
The third one is the one that I don't. I'm not a fan of the third as much as I am the second and the fourth.
Yeah. No, I for some reason I think also because the character of Julia was so awesome in the first one.
Yes. The second one,
It was a kind of movie that had broken. Clive created a new kind of monster, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it so wonderful.
Yeah, but Nightbreed's my favorite, probably one of my all-time favorite movies and books because I love Cabal. Yeah.
I nearly forgot. If you guys have to fade away, just tell me. But I nearly forgot was the first horror film I think I really saw, and it rocked my world, was The Horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing.
Hammer film, right?
Hammer Films. And we absolutely adore watching The Curse of Frankenstein, where I have to say, if you watch that film again, Peter Cushing gives this very daring, slightly pervy performance as Baron von Frankenstein, because he locks his maid, he's knocked up, right, in the room with poor Chris Lee as the back, and he puts his back up against the door so she can't get out, and he hears her screaming, and he just does this. Now it's almost orgasmic, his expression. It is just Peter. What a brilliant. We saw The Revenge of Frankenstein a couple of days ago, and it's not a patch on the first one, but he's always good in everything he's always done.
Yeah, he was always.
So I'll probably forget. There's a Japanese film called Audition, which is really
I love that movie. Yeah, I do. I love it. Well, I love
it. Also, another Soska Sisters one is American Mary.
Yeah, that's the first movie I saw that I loved that movie. Really,
yeah.
I love Kappa and Isabel too, but the movie was so well done.
Yeah, I'm probably forgetting tons, but
that's all right.
Name
that's all right.
20.
we do have to fade out. So,
We do.
Okay.
We'll swing back and get the rest of them another.
yeah, we'll come back and do because we like to swing back and talk to some of the people again. So can we give you a ring?
Absolutely. And I have to say that I've totally enjoyed this conversation. I was feeling so pooped before. Oh, I hope I'm going to be okay doing this. And you guys have just cheered me up. No end.
Good. I'm glad. That's what this is for.
Yeah, you cheered us up, so vice versa. We paid it out,
Yep, pay it forward.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Pay it forward. Yeah. Okay, you guys keep safe. Thanks for inviting me on your lovely show.
Thank you.
Great chatting with you. Thank you.
Okay.
It was great listening to you two chat. I'm kidding. I love that. So, all right, we have to go to another one. So,
Okay, you guys, you take care.
Thank you.
signing off. Bye.
Bye.